that score? You see that score? This is what we've been waiting for. We're about to go to the conference finals. We're about to go to the conference finals.
Alright guys, before I get into the nitty gritty of this video, I want to first send out a congratulations to the New York Knicks because they absolutely took care of business in this series and just straight up demolished the Boston Celtics. Now it's kind of funny because when you really look at the Knicks, man, they clearly came into this series as the underdog, and on paper, the Boston Celtics have the better talent. But it's funny because when you look at the trade that they made for Karl Anthony Towns, and I'm on record already because I already dropped a video talking about how that move should push them over and they could possibly win a championship because of it. But throughout the season, you start to see the weaknesses in the Knicks, the lack of defense at times, and I was like, there's probably just no way that's actually going to come into fruition. But here we are. Here we are. And what makes it even more funny is because we all talked about how bad of a trade that was going to be for the Minnesota Timberwolves. How Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards probably weren't going to be able to figure it out, and how it was absolutely silly that the Timberwolves traded their second best player after just making their own conference finals last year. But here they are in the conference finals again, even after making that trade. I mean, the NBA, man, sometimes it's just funny, man. Sometimes it's funny, but good trade for both teams. They're both in their conference finals. They both have a great opportunity of making the NBA finals. We'll see what happens between the Oklahoma City and Denver Nuggets series, which one of them takes it in Game 7. But the New York Knicks absolutely disrespected, spat on, and just shitted on the Boston Celtics for this entire series. And when you look at the Celtics, man, they're just nothing short of a disgrace, in my opinion, man. This team is atrocious. When I watch this entire series, I'm sitting there paying attention, and the Celtics do this all the time because they're a great playoffs team to watch. But what pisses me off is that when they're supposed to win, they always have these flunky, goofy situations where they let you down somehow. Just like they did last year or a couple years ago against the Miami Heat. A team that they had no business losing to. They didn't have any injuries on that team that warranted them losing. So then they formed what, in my opinion, is a super team. It's not a super team, but it's a team that's well built, just like the early 80s Lakers. I haven't seen a team built like this since like the early 80s Lakers, man, with the, actually mid, I would say like 85, 84 Lakers, like when you got Michael Cooper and everybody on there. And I haven't seen a team built like that since then. So in my opinion, I'm like, wow, this is the most talented roster in the league, and it still is. They should easily win any series and cakewalk through the finals. But the Boston Celtics have to be the Boston Celtics and let you freaking down, because this organization under the helm of Jason Tatum has been nothing short of a joke. A joke. We're talking about the same man here who tries to recreate everybody else's championship glory instead of making up his own. And I don't want to be too hard on Tatum, but come on, bro. Like, yeah, he's still kind of young, and prayers to him because he did just tear his Achilles. So you feel bad about that. But when you look at the entirety of this series, the most of the blame has to go on Joe Mazula. Joe Mazula is one of the worst coaches that I've seen in pivotal moments. When I watched Game 1 and 2, this is the coach that sat there with the last 3 minutes. And I'm going to just nitpick Game 2 first. 3 minutes left, right? Celtics have like an 11-point lead. They're losing the lead. They're confused. Jason Tatum looks confused. They're basically running ISO ball. And he does not call a timeout until 18 seconds left in the game when the Knicks are up. What were you thinking? You're the coach of the best team in the league. You can't afford to do goofy, disgraceful shit like that. I mean, come on, let's be for real. And then he did the same thing in Game 1. In Game 1, you sit there and you go, oh, wow, the Knicks stole one. But once they stole two, We were all sitting here like, oh, the Celtics might be in trouble. And then I saw Stephen A. Smith come out celebrated. And then for the Celtics to have Jason Tatum go out in game 4, I believe, bro, you knew the series was over before that. Like, we knew the series was over when they were down 3-1. Like, it was just basically wraps, dude. And I don't feel bad for them because I think this is just what they deserve. They've been playing too sharp by the corners for years now. Even when Brad Stevens was the coach. Getting rid of Kyrie Irving, which I always thought was like a mistake because you just let the dude walk. You traded all those assets, you moved everything around, you let him walk. Jason Tatum, I'm sorry. And, you know, prayers to his recovery. He'll just never be that guy. But how the fuck, and excuse my language, I know y'all don't like hearing it, but you gotta cuss. How the fuck do the Boston Celtics lose by 41 points? 41. That's coaching. You guys, last I checked, still had the reigning finals MVP playing in that game, right? How does he only score 20 points? You guys are all sitting there talking about plans to Cancun. Is that what happened this week? Were you guys planning your vacation trips? When Tatum went down, did you think that there was no other help? I'm still believe, like, this team was so talented that even if without Tatum playing, they're talented enough to still win a couple of damn games. Possibly even still make it to the damn finals. Kristaps, sick. But we all knew Kristaps is just Kristaps. He's been sick, hurt, beat down his entire career. Ain't no difference. He was hurt in the freaking finals last year. And then came in and dominated and kept leaving and coming back and leaving. So I don't want to hear that. You got Derek White. You got Drew Holiday. You got Jaylen Brown, bro. You had Tatum. At a time, you still have Al Horford. You have Kristaps for about 15 minutes a game. You guys lose 4-2. Really should have been 4-1. And in your final game, you get blown out by 40-something points, bro. You're a disgrace to the basketball race. You're just a disgrace, and that's what it is. And if Joe Mazula wakes up tomorrow morning and still has his job intact because the Celtics go to bat for Joe Mazula like no other, that tells me that this team is just not serious. They're just not a serious franchise, and they don't want to pay nobody else because they know they ain't going to be basically doing squat for the next 2 years. They got all that contract held up by Tatum. But the biggest disappointment that the Celtics have had, in my opinion, over the last 4 years, which is controversial, was the fact that they decided to let go of Ime Udoka. Ime Udoka was the coach for this team. He was the perfect fit, and I believe we're looking at a Jason Tatum who might actually have an MVP under his belt had Ime Udoka still been the coach. Joe Mazzulla just looks like a knockoff, bro. He's a coach you get from Kmart. Let's be for real. Yeah, I know Ime Udoka allegedly did what he did with somebody's wife. But you shouldn't have let pride get in the way of basketball. It is what it is. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I look at it like this is a team that let their shining coach get away. And now they're paying for it. I know a lot of people will not like what I just said. I tend to not care. Ime Udoka would have had this team, honestly, they probably be talking about their third championship, barring this injury from Tatum, of course. Because I watched this entire series, and coaching is about 60% of the problem, and then like the other 20% is just the fact that this team is just kind of goofy, bro. There's basically no other way to explain it. Like,
Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Just what's it feel like to finally be a champion?
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's a surreal feeling. We did it. We did it! Oh my God, we did it.
Jason Tatum just got too many airhead goofball moments, and so does Jaylen Brown, where they just out there looking like they don't know what they're doing. Like they forgot how to play basketball. But it's like they try. You ever see somebody who really wants to be something that they're not? It's like he really wants to be Kobe. They really want to be these killers who just come out and dominate. But it's just not who they are. So they got nothing short of what they deserve. Now the New York Knicks, on the other hand, oh my gosh. If you guys make it to the NBA Finals, man, and I think the last time y'all made it was in '99, bro, if you guys make it to the NBA Finals, bro, you have one more team to beat, and that's the Pacers. And as much as I want to say y'all should dog walk the Pacers, because I truly believe y'all should, something about Indiana, man. Something about Indiana just coming out of nowhere and just whooping ass. Tyrese Halliburton, dog. I think that series is popcorn, must watch. And I like to throw shade on the Pacers because honestly, who cares about them? I want the Knicks to win because the Knicks need to win. They need this. But you cannot sleep on Indiana, man. When I look at the Timberwolves, I just see a team that honestly got lucky that Steph Curry got hurt, in my opinion. I think, and we all saw it in game one, but I think that series would have been over in 5 or 6 with the Warriors winning. And honestly, the Warriors were like my dark horse to get to the finals. And I know the league didn't want that to happen, truly just because that means that he has one more championship and another finals appearance than LeBron. But that's exactly what I was going for. Now, injuries is a part of the game, so it is what it is. Not blaming the Timberwolves for that. Still, congratulations for getting the job done. I'll probably do a separate video on that. But with that being said, man, the Celtics are a disgrace. They need to figure out this team. They're probably going to just... Honestly, I think this is the last time that Jason Tatum has played with half that roster because they're going to do such an overhaul. And he's probably not going to be back for 2 seasons, let alone 1. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section, man. I appreciate you guys watching these videos. What do you think about the Celtics in this series if you got to watch it? And who do you guys think is going to make it to the finals? And then who you guys think is going to win the championship? Like, comment, subscribe, man. I'm up out of here.